Recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the
to
flag
the flag
of the United States of America
and
and to the republic
which it
for
stands,
which it stands, one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda tonight is the consent agenda. The listing under consent agenda is a group of items to be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by city council. The mayor will ask the citizen or council member if they wish to have any specific item removed from its consent agenda for discussion. Either the public or a council member may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda at this time prior to council's vote. The items on the consent agenda are approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes of July 28, 2020. Approval of the expenditure vouchers of August 11th of 2020. Approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Once Upon LLC DBA Once Upon a Sandwich located at 7 West Main Street, Cortez. Approval of a renewal tavern liquor license for L&D Development Incorporated DBA J Fargo's located at 1209 East Main Street in Cortez. And approval of renewal tavern liquor license for Cortez Elks Lodge 1789 Incorporated DBA Cortez Elks 1789 located at 2100 North Dolores Road, Cortez. Do I hear a motion on this?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? Okay, do we have a
Okay.
vote?
Huckins,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. The next item on the presentations is the presentations. Excuse me. I have before me a proclamation for the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, the women's right to vote. The council will consider honoring the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which granted full voting rights to women of all ages. Under the proclamation, it says, whereas Colorado is the first state to grant women the right to vote by popular vote on November 7th, 1893, and whereas August 26, 2020 marks the 100th anniversary of passage of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which gave women of all states full voting rights. And whereas passage of the 19th Amendment was the first step to enable women to become full participants and leaders in civic affairs in our country. And whereas our city, state, and nation have benefited from the participation of women who are one half of the population of the United States in the processes of representative government. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Cortez, Colorado proclaims the week of August 23rd, 2020 as a celebration of the adoption of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which ensured women's right to vote. And be it further resolved that the City of Cortez honors the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which granted full voting rights to women in all states. And do I hear a motion on this proclamation?
I'll make a motion, Honorable Mayor, for the proclamation of the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, women's right to vote.
A second.
Sorry, wrong button. Rainey,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is citizen participation. Comments may be limited to 4 minutes per person. Please comment on items not listed as public hearing. Council may or may not respond to comments.
Mayor, I
Yes.
would like to make a comment as a citizen, John Doherty, 602 North Market, Cortez. I would like to call attention to for the council, what is going on at the county board level here in Montezuma County. They are currently talking about revising their land use code to make it cut it down from 10 acres per lot to 1 acre per lot, and put no restrictions on how close you can build to the Dolores River. As the council's well aware, that's where the city of Cortez gets our water. I can guarantee you that packing along the riverfront will cause the river to flood more often, and that will bring more garbage and refuse flowing downriver, and we have to depend on that water for our drinking. Late today, I sent all the council an 8-page memo that thankfully the staff put together. They've been working on it since last week, but quite frankly, this is coming up for a vote soon, and as of Friday, there was nothing on the county's website telling what the changes were, when they were going to meet, anything else. They're trying to really push this through quickly. It's supposed to go to the planning commission, and then the next day go to the board of supervisors. And I just think that now is the time to step up as council members, as the public, and tell the county, just slow it down. We want to talk about this. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty.
Can we make a comment on your comment?
Go ahead, make a comment.
So I don't think a decision is being made on Tuesday, the 18th, but I would like to add this to our work session or an agenda item so that we can discuss it, because there's some aspects that I support and there's some that I'm against. So I think it'd be good for council to talk about this
I
before.
was told you wait to get on council's agenda because they're running this through before you meet again.
On the 18th.
We have a commissioner here to make public comment.
You'll have to talk directly into the mic so it'll pick up.
Is this okay? First of all, with all due respect, John, that's actually not true. We are not going to make any decision on the 18th. That's the first public hearing that we are going to have. We're going to set a minimum of 2 and then move forward with another if we need it. It was discussed at our meeting today. Those were proposals from the Planning and Zoning Commission that came to us. It's not necessarily that is something that we agree or disagree with. It was something for discussion. So I know there's a lot of emails floating around out there. There's a lot of hoopla. Some of it is not factual. So really what I was here tonight, we haven't had the opportunity as a commission to meet with the city council. And I guess what I was here to do is to extend my hand to be able to meet with the city council, knowing that they just got seated in April, to discuss these types of issues instead of creating this kind of distrust or ill feelings amongst us, and that's not our position at all. So we are not going to make a decision on the 18th. I assure you of that. We publicly stated that, and we're looking at what's presented to us, and we're going to move from there.
May I ask who's speaking?
Say your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jay Candelaria, 13-10, Road 27.6.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Candelaria. The acoustics are pretty bad in that room, so I think we picked up quite a bit of the conversation, but I understand you're not going to move forward as quickly as it sounds like.
They're not making a decision on the 18th.
Okay,
See this as an agenda item for our next meeting in the work session and maybe the main meeting.
okay. Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Okay. Next item
Oh,
is.
Mayor,
Yes,
Mayor, you do have somebody with their hand up.
okay, go.
It's Lydia DeHaven.
Okay, Lydia. Do you have a comment, Lydia?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Hi, my name is Lydia DeHaven. I live in Cortez. I just wanted to comment on my concern about the homeless population in the community. I've been on some emails with the council members and John expressing these concerns, and I just wanted to say them at the council meeting. It seems like the city doesn't have much data or a proactive approach to manage this issue in our community. And I would like to see some data collection on the homeless population, why they're in our community, or what we could do in order to figure out what we could do to better support them. And I'd also like to see the city take a more proactive approach. And I'm really glad I tuned in earlier, and I'm happy to see that the presentation about access and what new approaches they're looking at to help out the county and all of the communities around here.
Thank you very much for your comment. We appreciate it.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
I just want to say that I think that's a really important topic that we either need to have special meetings about so we can invite all the stakeholders, or have some kind of subcommittee, form a subcommittee in the community to take a proactive approach.
Thank you, Rachel.
What can we do? Email about that, or try and set something up soon? John or Mike?
I've got it on my list. We're going to get it on there as quickly as possible. And it may be a 5-minute discussion to discuss having a special meeting, or as you said, set up a subcommittee to get it rolling. But we will get it on there very soon, hopefully. Even if it's only 5 minutes, we can at least get it moving.
Yeah, it's a very important subject. We need to address it. I agree.
Karen Sheik has her hand up as well.
Okay, go ahead, Karen. Karen, can you unmute yourself?
My name is Karen Sheik, and I live in the Southern Bluff subdivision in Cortez. I'd like to remind the community that the 2020 census is still taking place. It has come to our attention that there is a movement afoot to instead of extend the census until October the 31st, to shut it down on September the 30th. This means that it's going to be extremely important for those people in our community who have not yet completed the census to do so. Beginning today, there are census takers on the ground in our community. And if you have not completed the census, they will be knocking at your door. So the campaign at this point is, if you want to stop the knock, go online at 2020census.gov. You can also find information. You can fill it out online, or you can find information on that website to call and complete it by phone. It's so, so important for us in this community to complete the census. It is in effect for 10 years, and it's estimated that every response in the state of Colorado is worth $2,300, which over a 10-year period means that for 5 minutes or less of your time to complete the census, that you bring $23,000 into our community. And many of those dollars go to services for those of us that are in the greatest need: senior services, veterans, schools, childcare, roads. So it's bringing your tax dollars that have been sent to Washington back here to Montezuma County for us to use. And particularly with the impact that we are all experiencing in Montezuma County with COVID-19, any additional federal funding that we can get is just really critical. So, if you haven't done it, do it. Remind your family members to do it. Encourage your friends to do it. Our response rate in Cortez is about 66%. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could get 100% and 100% in Montezuma County? That's probably a goal that may be impossible to achieve, but I think we can do better than we've done at this point. So everybody do their part. And one last thing, my compliments to Mark Boblet and his crew. The little parking lot area between to the east of Moose and Moore, you've added some trees and some shrubs, and it looks great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Karen.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are there any other comments from the public? If not, we'll go to public hearings. There are a number of quasi judicial items on the agenda tonight. I'm going to read the facts about quasi judicial operations. The city council sits as a quasi judicial body, and the city council is restricted to make its findings of facts on evidence presented to them at the hearing. No member of the city council should ever receive or solicit comments from any persons regarding a matter pending before the city council prior to the formal hearing itself. If anyone has had any contact on this matter, please advise council and consider recusing yourself. Okay, that done?
Mike,
Yes.
I would have to recuse myself here. That's for the Housing Authority, and I'm on the board.
Okay. See, that will be the first item on the agenda, Orly?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, Orly is recusing himself from this first quasi judicial item because of conflict of interest. The first item is the quasi judicial item ordinance number 1274 series 2020. Associate Planner Neva Connolly will present. Go ahead, Neva.
Okay, hello there, everyone.
Hello.
I hope you can hear me better this time.
Yes.
Great. All right, so this is the final council approval needed for a project that has been a couple years in the making. This project has already gone through several land use approvals, including a conditional use permit approved in 2019 to allow for multifamily housing, and a site plan approved just last month. And now finally this vacation, which will clear all the lots from the original 1890 plat. As you may recall from the site plan presentation, the Calkins site is about 6 acres, zone neighborhood business. There is the existing Calkins School on site, as well as a warehouse that at one point held the food storage for the Montezuma Cortez School District. This vacation will clear all of the original lots from the 1890 plat, the alleys that run through it, and it will vacate Second Street and rededicate it from an 80-foot right-of-way width to a 60-foot right-of-way width. Well, I think that's about it for this vacation. I don't really have much more information to add to this.
So Neva, they're definitely going to remove part of that building that's in the right of way?
Yes, they are. They're working on removing sections so that it can fall into the southern track. So the vacation will essentially create the north track, which is 3.7 acres, and then on the north side of Second Street, and then a southern almost 2-acre lot on the south side of the rededicated Second Street. And yeah, the warehouse, a portion of that will be removed.
But it's not going to be a separate parcel, what's being vacated?
The north track and the south track will be separate parcels.
Okay. It looks like Phil's raising his hand.
Phil, do you have a comment?
I just wanted to address a concern Rachel had raised at the last meeting about the alley accessing the soccer field from the south. And you're right, there is a dead end alley there, but for all intents and purposes, we don't use that alley. And I mentioned in John's his weekly report that we, should basically, go ahead and vacate that and then just have it dedicated as a utility easement, because there are sewer lines in that now, and that way we will not have to be responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of it, and it would still serve a purpose for utilities.
Okay, that's great to hear, because yeah, how do we proactively do that without the property owner bringing it to our attention?
I think that, we just start with boots on the ground and talk to the property owner and go from there.
Okay, thank you, Phil.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, we can have more discussion. Do I hear a motion on this quasi judicial item?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the final reading of ordinance number 1274, series 2020, approving the vacation of the alleyway, Second Street right of way, and lot lines lining adjacent to and within the property described in tract 1 and tract 2 on exhibit 1.
I second the motion.
Okay, are there any other comments or concerns? Okay, can we have a vote on this?
Medina,
Yes.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is another quasi judicial item. Ordinance number 1275, series 2020, city planner Tracy Hughes.
And before we get started, Honorable Mayor Mike, I'm going to recuse myself.
Okay, Rachel is recusing herself because of conflict of interest. And Orly, have you come and returned to the council?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for a vacation of right-of-way. It is the end of Coronado Avenue in the Hiltsville addition. The applicant and the adjacent landowners are essentially looking to vacate the 40 feet of right-of-way at the end of Coronado that is unused and has not been used since the subsequent platting of the Smith addition. And the applicants own lots that are located in the Smith addition and where the street would have extended had that Smith addition plat not been recorded to plat residential lots. The original applicant was Doug and Leah Roth, and there is a pool in the area of right-of-way that was built in the 1950s. And there were air photos in the packet that you have kind of showing that pool's been there for a long time. And so the street is not shown on the Cortez Master Street Plan as a proposed street the city wants to extend. And the City Public Works Director and City Engineer had no issues with the proposal, and utility agencies have provided the letters and comments in response to the application, and there was no opposition from those entities. So staff feels this meets the 4 criteria in the land use code for vacating right-of-way, and that's about it.
Are there any questions or comments?
I don't have any.
Can I hear a motion on this item?
I make a motion approving the final reading of ordinance number 1275, series 2020, approving the vacation of the Coronado Avenue.
I'll second.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, can we have a vote on this?
Public hearing on this is an ordinance on second reading.
Could you repeat that, Mr. Green?
I think you have to call for public comments.
Okay, are there any public comments on this item?
No, I can't hear you.
Hello?
I don't see any public comment. Any hands up?
I believe Doug has his hand up.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello? Oh, okay. I am my name's Doug Roth. I'm the applicant at 501 North Ash Street, and just wanted to thank the Planning Department and the Planning Commission for their thorough review of this. And if you have any questions for me, I'm here to answer those. Thank you.
I have no questions. Council, any questions? Anyone?
No questions.
Okay. Now can we have a vote?
Yazzie,
Make a motion approving the final reading of ordinance 1275, series 2020, approving the vacation of the Coronado Avenue.
Second.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. The next item is another quasi judicial item, resolution number 11, series 2020, city planner Tracy Hughes.
Okay, this is a application for a conditional use permit to establish a satellite school facility at 20 South Market. This application was submitted by Battle Rock Charter School. And they are doing this because they need a contingency plan during the COVID-19 pandemic. This facility will provide additional space in the event that they need to do more social distancing or provide supplemental services to students who are choosing to do online school. They anticipate operating between the hours of 7:30 and 3:45 p.m., 7:30 a.m. and 3:45 p.m. They might serve up to 35 students and have 5 staff maximum on site. They will be using a 1,236 square foot meeting room. The drop-off and pickup plan was discussed with the City Public Works Director, and they will be following suggestions made during that conversation to have parents head west on First Street and use the 3 spaces to the south of the building for pickup and drop-off. School staff would accompany students to the room in the building and return to the area during pickup. They also have use of a parking lot that's to the south of the building. That is owned by the Montelores Community Parish that owns 20 South Market Street as well. So they will have a written policy on pickup and drop off, and that is how this will be kind of handled and mitigate impacts to adjacent property owners and maintain safety for the students. The Public Works Department has stated they will repaint the fading crosswalks across First Street. Conditional uses require parking in the central business district, and because this building is maxed out the footprint on the site, there's no room for additional parking to be installed. However, because the owners of the building do own the parking lot to the south, they do have parking available that's adjacent to the property. And using the conference room as a school will not trigger additional parking. So the change in use, the way we've interpreted it, is that this is not triggering the need to construct additional parking. So staff feels that this is in compliance with the requirement for the change of use to have parking for the students. At 1 spot per 10 students is a lot less parking than a conference room or an office use. That feels that this proposal meets the 6 criteria in the land use code, and the only concern really is traffic, which can be addressed through the pickup and drop off plan and Public Works assistance to paint the crosswalks in that area. There were no agency comments of concern. The city attorney did ask about signage on streets concerning speed limits and school zones, and compared it to the Children's Kiva, which was on Beach Street and in a very similar position as Battle Rock. I think that's all I have for this project.
What happened to the hospital? I thought they were using that space.
My understanding is the Montelores Community Parish has purchased it, and now they're using it for their offices.
Okay. So will kids be crossing the street or just employees if they park in that parking lot then?
Right. I think the idea is if they're having pickup and drop off, that they will use those 3 spaces on First Street that are just to the south of the building, kind of in this area. Okay. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but and then I think for so drop off, they'll be doing that, but for pickup, I might have been mixing those terms and I apologize, but for drop off, they'll use those 3 spaces, but for pickup, parents may park in the parking lot and then walk into the building and grab their children and then walk back to their car. I think the idea is that children will be accompanied by an adult in both scenarios. However, the applicant is I believe there's an applicant or a representative on the call, so you could ask for more specificity.
Would you like me to go into detail, or did that answer the question? I'm Susan Thomas with Battle Rock School.
I guess for our part, I just want to make sure that the crosswalks are painted, repainted and obvious for traffic to protect you guys.
Tracy, did you say that only that western crosswalk would be painted, or would both sides be painted? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar.
I think my guess is all the faded crosswalks will probably be repainted. Phil Johnson can correct me if that's not true, but I think that's the intent. You can kind of see on the air photo, they look a little faded on both sides of the intersection on First Street, you know, the north-south crosswalks.
Yeah, it looks like there's not even one side that's painted. It's completely gone.
I'd like to chime in if I could.
Go ahead, Phil.
Well, we're going to be repainting all of the crosswalks. We'll be putting also the, at least in the east-west lanes, the unsignalized paddles that we put in intersections on Main Street that demarks the crosswalks, so the traveling vehicles can see that. As there was a concern at the planning and zoning about sight lines with the proximity to the post office, but actually West First Street crests at South Market. So there's a really good line of sight, both east and west for parents and children crossing there. And yeah, we're gonna hit it all and make sure it's very bright and visible. And it's really low hanging fruit for us. It's not gonna impact us in any way, and it'll be accomplished. And we'll report that out to you if you'd like.
Will there be will you guys lower the speed limit in that area?
No, that had never come up in the discussion.
Can you do something temporary like that?
Well, all of the city streets, unless otherwise marked, are 20 miles an hour, or 25, forgive me. So this would be a 25-mile-an-hour zone, as is a lot of the residential streets throughout the city. If, you know, I think that with the high visibility painting and signage, if there are any concerns there, I'm sure that, you know, Chief Knuckles will be on that, and or we can, you know, address that as you see fit.
Thank you.
Okay, got any more questions? Comments?
Mine were answered on the crosswalks and everything ever since the post office is there. Every once in a while there's some rush hours in there, but they'll probably be in class at that time. So Phil answered it for me. Thanks.
And Susan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, is there a possibility that this will not be used if you don't need the social distancing for the students?
Yes, there is a possibility we won't use it. And we've mentioned that to the parish, but we feel like we have to have a safety valve. We're far enough down Canyon. We're dependent on the bus. The school district buses are going to social distance kids. So instead of one bus, we'll have two. We foresee a real need for tutoring and maybe one-on-one with a teacher for students who perhaps are doing the online learning only. So I think this is much less likely to be used as a kind of a mainstream classroom and much more tutoring, meeting with parents, single or small groups of students with a teacher. It's a safety valve, really.
Right. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Can I have a motion on this item?
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for council to approve resolution number 11, series 2020, a conditional use permit to establish a satellite facility for Battle Rock Charter School at 20 South Market Street, as submitted by Montaloras Community Parish.
I second the motion.
Public comment.
Any public comments?
I was going to say it's public hearing.
Any comments from the public?
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Can we have a vote on this then?
Lucero,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. Next item is a quasi judicial item, resolution number 12, series 2020, city planner Tracy Hughes. Okay, Tracy.
Tracy, you're muted.
Am I on now?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. You know, my thing pops up in my screen and I can't see the mute button.
Okay,
All right, sorry about that.
we can hear you now.
Okay, so this project is an application for an encroachment into the city's alley. The project is in the old Safeway building next to City Market, just to the east. The business owner is DaVita Dialysis, and they have an existing loading dock in the rear of the building. And that loading dock is in the alley because the building is built right up to the property line. And they need to make changes to that loading dock. They currently do not have a license to encroach in the alley, and there was no evidence of a building permit of the prior loading dock. So staff's not entirely sure how that was constructed. And this came up during an interior remodel that they've already put some investment into. So the loading dock, I believe, is to receive shipments of materials and possibly to remove waste. The applicants will need to reconstruct the dock to the submitted plans that you see on the screen so that the dock is within the alley boundaries and get the structures permitted with a building permit. They will be subject to a license agreement that the city attorney has provided. The alley dead ends on the north side of the existing building, which again was built in 1959. And staff feels that the dock is necessary for the business owners based on their stated needs of the medical use of the building. It doesn't completely restrict access to the adjacent property owners. 102 North Adams is a smaller lot than the east side of the alley, and they will still have around 25 to 30 feet of unobstructed access after the loading dock is built. This encroachment is in keeping with the city policy on encroachment permits in that the city has permitted other encroachments for items such as awnings and patios. And so being that this application is for a more utilitarian purpose to serve a medical service to the community, it seems like it is in keeping with that policy. So I believe that's all I have to present, and if there's any questions. I believe the applicant is also on the call.
So this won't disrupt, say, trash truck routes or anything that anyone else that uses the alley?
It's my understanding it won't. This was routed to Public Works for comments. And, you know, and again, they've been using it in this capacity for years. So this has not come up as an issue in the past.
Okay.
I have a question for the applicant. Can you hear me? This is Mayor Levy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, I have a question. Part of the reason for the dock is to remove waste from the rear of the building, and it's near the residential areas. Is there any hazardous material that would be moved from that loading dock?
No, It is just strictly waste from deliveries and to receive shipments of the dialysis equipment, including barrels of acid that is required for dialysis.
Okay,
When that acid is used, it does go back out the door, but we do not consider that hazardous waste.
okay. And the delivery vehicles, it's a very narrow alleyway, so I assume they must back in and all the way to get to the dock?
Yes, just your standard box truck.
Okay. And that's been no problem in the past?
No, and I believe we've been doing this since 1997 roughly, with no
Okay.
issues.
All righty, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
I have a question more for our attorney about encroachment permits. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I noticed the encroachment permit, you allow it until, say, the city needs it, and then they contact them and they have to like rip out the dock or whatever. So that's the condition of an encroachment permit?
Yes, ma'am. Encroachment permits are temporary in nature, and you're just letting someone use the city property until the city needs it, or perhaps the building is removed and there's no need for the loading dock without a building, or some other reason.
So what about more permanent encroachments? Well, like the one where what Doug Roth dealt with, that was way more permanent. So
Technically, what would happen there is you would give an encroachment permit that allowed the item that had been built in the right-of-way to exist. And if it was ever removed or fell out of use or became damaged and it couldn't be repaired, then the encroachment permit normally ends and the city gets its property back. Encroachment permits they're like a license, a permission, a lease. Therefore, a temporary use. There's nothing permanent about them. Each time there's a new owner, they should come in and get the encroachment permit renewed. So you make sure that it's still necessary. And that's how they work.
So what if someone with an encroachment permit was to sell their property? What happens for the next owner? Does that encroachment permit just go away and someone needs to tell that new property owner that they need to get that, or?
Technically, the new property owner needs to come in. I suppose in a perfect world, the planner would notice that there was a change in ownership to the property, or someone in the city would, and they would say, okay, let's go over and make sure they're using the loading dock for the same thing. Or do we need to give them whatever the 90 days or 60 days notice, or whatever the notice is in the permit to, you're gonna have to get rid of this obstruction in our right of way.
Okay, so that responsibility is on the city and
Yes,
not the okay, that's good. All right, that's all I had.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Can I hear a motion on this resolution?
Public comment?
Public comments. Are there any public comments?
Yeah, there's no hands raised.
Okay, can I have a motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 12, series 2020, regarding an encroachment permit into the public right of way for construction of a loading dock and shed for property located at 610 East Main Street as submitted by Brandy Moore, agent for property owner Cortez Maine LLC.
Second.
Any other
Rainey,
comments, question from public? Council?
Is that condition? The 3 conditions recommended by staff?
I missed that, Rachel. What was that again?
Sorry, did that motion include the 3 conditions that were recommended by staff?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's in the resolution, number 12. It's in the resolution.
Okay, great.
Okay, can we have a vote on this item?
Rainey,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. Mr. Doherty, I understand we're tabling the next item.
That is my request, Mayor, that item D or E be tabled to the next meeting. Something came up very late tonight, and I would like the opportunity to discuss it with the planners, with Phil Johnson, and potentially with Mr. Gray.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to table the quasi judicial item, resolution number 13, series 2020, till a later date. Okay,
You need a motion to table it, don't you, Mayor?
yes, can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to table resolution number 13, 2020 to future notice.
Second.
Huckins,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you all. The next item is a quasi judicial item. It's a new hotel and restaurant liquor license for Margaritas. City Attorney Mike Green will present.
This application has been reviewed by staff and it's complete. This is going to be down at 550 South Broadway, Cortez. The police department conducted its investigation, and I will suggest we're doing this slightly different because it's virtual than we have normally done. The police department investigated the applicant and did background checks. The property was posted. Public hearing notice was posted according to regulations. Petitions were circulated by both the city, as I understand it, and the applicant, Ms. Rodriguez, and all this information is in your packet. This is an existing operation. It's been, there's been a liquor license here for years under various names and operations and restaurants, and so it's not a new use for this place. Council's got, we need to have a public hearing to hear if there's any testimony or comments from the neighborhood, which is residents of the city of Cortez, people who own property in the city of Cortez, or managers of businesses within the city of Cortez. The council can continue this matter for further information. Council can deny if they don't believe we need another liquor license at this location. Council can approve the liquor license after considering the information presented at the public hearing. Staff is recommending approval with if council determines it needs to be approved, the motion needs to be made as stated at the end of the memo. The motions are a little bit different lately because there are some additional criteria that the statute from the liquor code requires to be considered. And so this motion would be telling everybody that we considered all those things that are required and decided to grant the liquor license.
Thank you. Are there any discussions or questions on this item?
Is this where Me Mexico was?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad to see that building won't stay empty.
Thank you.
And to be clear, so that was Mi Mexico before they had a liquor license. And so this is now a new business going into that existing building.
Yes.
Yeah, so because Mi Mexico had a liquor license. That's correct. Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I don't have any.
Okay. Can I hear a motion on this item?
Open it up.
Open it up for public comment.
No, there's no hands raised.
Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Okay. Now can we proceed? Do I hear a motion on this?
After considering the facts and evidence adduced as a result of staff's investigation, as well as any other facts, the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood, and for the type of license applied for, the desires of the adult inhabitants, the availability, the number of alcoholic beverage outlets located in or near the neighborhood, and other potential matters affecting the qualifications of the applicant for the type of business proposed, I move to approve the liquor license for Margaritas Inc., doing business as Margaritas.
A second.
Huckins,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. See, there's no new unfinished business. Under new business, the first item is airport taxi lane repair contract. Airport manager Russ Machen.
I'm here. Back in May, first council meeting in May, you'll remember that I approached council on this in using a portion of our CARES Act grant that was awarded to the airport to address a situation of a failed taxi lane in between two hangar areas. And three of you have come down and seen that, the mayor included. At that time, I asked for a not to exceed amount of $35,000, which was given to me as a ballpark figure by the contractor on site for our spring taxiway project. We waited until people got their dance card a little emptied as the summer went along. So we went out to bid a few weeks ago and got 3 bids for the job, all well within the 35,000 limit. They're all so close that I feel we, as I said in my memo, we hit a sweet spot. So the low bid was M Leader Construction Incorporated out of Durango, $30,053 for a 1 1/2 inch overlay. He has seen the project area and I explained to him what we wanted out of it. And he feels confident that the 1 1/2 inch will take care of us and fulfill our needs for several years. Hopefully in the coming years, especially after the master plan is adopted, we might be able to knock that old hangar down. and then repave this entire area as ramp. So are there any questions from council?
Are they, you said they were from
Russ?
Durango?
I'm sorry, too many people
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah. Russ,
Go ahead, Worley.
Yeah, you said they were from Durango?
Yes.
So where's Oak Castle Group considered being from?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I think that the fellow that came was from the Durango office as well.
Okay,
Hey,
thank you,
Russ.
Cindy.
Russ, I have a question. Have we used the M Leader construction in the past?
Yes,
Okay, they've done a good job.
yes.
Okay.
And this is a 100% match, this grant we got. So there's really no funds, city funds or airport funds being used for this. It's all coming from the grant we were awarded due to the COVID pandemic.
Understand. Thank you.
And just a little bit to note for those of you who haven't gotten to see this area where the 1.5-inch overlay will be, but it's time. It's desperately needed, and you know, I think this is everything that Russ was looking for.
Yeah, I'd like to add, I went out there also, and there's a lot of loose gravel and broken pavement, and all that material can be sucked up by the plane props. There's only a few inches difference between the end of the prop and the runway, so it can cause damage to the planes if this isn't repaired. So it really needs to be done. It's pretty rough.
I agree with that
Okay.
100%. Yes.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments from the council?
I don't have any.
Okay. Can I hear a motion on this?
Honorable Mayor, I would like to make the motion the council approve awarding the airport taxi line repair contract to M Leader Construction Inc. for $30,053.
Second.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, council? Okay, can we have a vote?
Medina,
Yes.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. The next item under new business is a quasi judicial item again. Angels End Zone premises change. City Attorney Mike Green will present. Go ahead, Mike.
This is an application to add a licensed premise to an existing license.
Can you speak up, Mike? It's hard to hear.
Use your mics, Mike.
Yes, sir.
That's better.
To add a patio to the outside area at Angels End Zone. The city has conducted its investigation. It has done the required inspections and et cetera. And so the staff recommends that this be approved. And you can do that by making the motion at the end of the memo.
Why is this quasi judicial?
All liquor hearings appear to be quasi judicial when you read the statute. This one, an interesting side note, half the jurisdictions in the state have a full-blown public hearing. Others have some sort of modified procedure. It's unclear in the statute exactly. And this is rather simple, but liquor hearings in general are quasi judicial.
Then we'll still have to open it up, right?
Yes, we'll just open it up quickly to see if there's any comment.
And is this business caught up on their tax Yep.
Yes, my understanding is they have been making regular payments like clockwork. Angels is working really hard to correct the problem.
They got behind, they come in weekly and make their payments, and they're like clockwork, Ben said.
Okay, other comments, questions?
I don't have any.
Okay. Can I hear a motion on this item?
Open it up. Do we need to open up to public comment?
Yes, can we open up for public comment first?
It's not a public hearing, is it?
It is, well, you don't, technically, this doesn't require a public hearing, but if you want to have the public comment, there's no problem with that.
There's nobody from the public on the Zoom meeting right now.
Okay. No hands raised then. Okay, can we have motion then?
After considering the, considering the facts and evidence adduced as a result of staff's investigation, as well as any other facts, the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood for the type of license applied for, the desires of the adult inhabitants, the availability, the number of alcohol beverage outlets located in or near the neighborhood, and other pertinent matters affecting the qualifications of the applicant for the type of business proposed. Council moves to approve the change in premises for Angels End Zone located at 309 North Broadway, Cortez.
Second.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, can I have a vote, please?
Yazzie. Yazzie.
Aye.
Huckins.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. The next item under new business is the renewal of professional GIS services contract. Director of Public Works, Phil Johnson.
Honorable Mayor,
Yes.
Dina, I'm going to recuse myself from this particular topic just for potential conflict of interest.
Okay, Rachel Medina will recuse herself from this item. Okay, go ahead, Phil Johnson.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm bringing before you an annual contract, a renewal contract for Doug Roth for his GIS system services that he's been performing since 2014. 2013 was the last year that we actually had the full-time position, and this has been working out really well for us since then. Currently, Mr. Roth works at the Service Center on Monday and Thursday afternoons, and also works full-time in the GIS department for Montezuma County. The county administrator has been amenable to this schedule since its inception. These services include managing the computerized GIS for the city, process development, data input, mapping projects, providing databases of inventories, reports of public works functions, and updating the GIS database using survey and GPS technology. We have budgeted for this in this year's budget, but as you can see, it starts in September of 2020 and terminates in August of 2021, so we'll have to reappropriate the 2021 portion when we go through our budget process. But we do recommend that we renew Mr. Roth's contract. He has not raised his rates. He has provided us with a certificate of insurance. And he performs his job very well for us.
Thank you, Phil. Any questions or comments from the council, public?
No, I would say he's been doing it for several years and I haven't heard any complaints at all, so.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Can we have a motion on this item?
I make a motion approving the renewal of the professional GIS service contract with Doug Roth, doing business as Cortez GIS Service for City of Cortez GIS Services.
Second.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, can I have a vote on this, please?
Lucero,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Thank you.
That concludes our new business. There are no draft resolutions or ordinances, no other items of business. Are there any other additional citizen participation?
Nobody in here.
We don't have any attendees anymore.
Okay. No attendees? Okay. City attorney's report, none. City manager report, none. Are there any city council committee reports?
Can we just say, does it have to be about committees or can we just say announcements or something?
Well, we'll go through the committees first. If there's no committees, then we can go through an announcement.
Okay.
There's no committees, council? Okay, Rachel, do you have a comment?
Okay, I have a few. The best of in the journal is happening right now. So you have until August 15th to nominate for the best of. And then after the 15th, then it'll go into the voting period. So I just think that's a fun part of our community and recognizing the businesses and the people that we appreciate. Also, can I recommend things like Master Streets Plan? I want, if Tracy's still on or Phil Johnson, I would like planning and zoning to work on adopting a Master Streets Plan, especially with the county talking about increasing lot density, like within the 3 mile area of influence of the city of Cortez. Also, I would like to ask IT, I appreciate all the work that gets done putting our agendas together. But I think they look clunky and unprofessional being scanned. You lose a lot of the resolution of the exhibits in there. You can't search the packet via, you can't search words in it. And so I'm wondering is there anyone that has the Adobe Suite at the city that could help train like Linda and other people on combining PDFs, just to keep the quality of our packets there?
We can address that.
Some of that's due to your diminishing the size of large flats. And so it's, when you do that, the words are illegible and you somehow have to expand it back out to be able to read. I'm not sure that's an IT.
Can that be a separate document then?
Well, you would end up being 3 by 2, the plat size, in order to be able to read it, or we could maybe get the dedications a separate page. But yeah, when you reduce them down to 8.5 by 11 inches from feet by feet, you're going to get that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, same with the little like vicinity maps. I mean, those are all scanned, and so it's really hard to read any of them. And I would love to be able to search words in there.
And then the other thing you had, man, we've actually started to talk about getting an official street map for the city of Cortez up and running, showing not only the improved streets, but the right of ways that have been dedicated to the city.
Okay. Also, one last thing, I would like to recommend or to talk about with Phil, changing the road Alamosa to just road L for the entire length of it. even at near, where it's at city limits. Because as it stands, there's only one address using that Alamosa Street. And the county is about to assign a second address. And for 911 purposes, I think it would just be better to have Road L the entire length. I know it's a county naming convention that would be in city limits, but I think for 911 purposes, it's important. So just wanted to say that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it.
That road was named because it's part of it's in the city limits, correct? Phil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think the way it is, I don't see no problem with it ever since it's in the city limits. Be the same name.
Okay. See, I'm group of stakeholders met at near the library yesterday, and we met with the band shell architect. His name is Jim Keogh, and we're discussing items that we'd like on the band shell that being proposed through the Bob Wagner is the guiding force behind that, and the people in the audience that met with him kind of gave some feedback what they'd like to see if we do approve of a band shell in the Park DeVita area north of the library, and it's very informational meeting, and he got some ideas from the stakeholders what we'd like to see in a band shell in our park. So are there any other items or comments?
I've got something to just put out into the world.
Okay.
In my other job, I work as a coordinator for a suicide prevention coalition. So I'm offering the backbone support to build up this coalition. And we're looking for members, especially individuals with lived experience around suicide. We'd love to have your input and help guide work in our community that really contributes to building resiliency and preventing suicide. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and just email my city email, and then I can follow up with you there. Am I allowed to do that? Just want to make sure. They should be able to email my city email. Okay.
I don't think so.
Please reach out. And it's not just youth suicide prevention, which there was a huge focus on youth suicide prevention a couple years ago, but this is more community wide, veterans, middle-aged men, youth, of course, still. Yeah, so we're really trying to target everybody that we can and just base it on like what we see as the greatest need in our community. So thanks.
Thank you, Arlena. That's a very important subject need to address. Okay, any other comments or ideas from the council? Okay, the next item is the mayor's report on the workshop. Tonight, we had a presentation by Region 9, Laura Lewis Marchino. She's an executive director, and we had a presentation by the Southwest COG director, Miriam Gillow-Wiles. We had an introduction to the municipal judge, James A. Shaner. We got to meet him and see what he looked like and see what he sounds like, and he discussed some of his jobs. We had a monthly finance update, budget impacts on COVID-19, the July financial report, and an audit update from Ben Burkett, our finance director. We had discussion on City Attorney Green explanation of memos that he sends out to the council. We had an update on the Access Health request for funding. Discussion on disposal of the airport fire truck, which was being out of service through the airport. And we also had discussion on having Wi-Fi out city buildings. And that kind of concludes the mayor's report on the workshop. Are there any other items or comments from the council? If not, could I have motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
And have a vote on that. Any opposed?
It's great seeing you all.
Okay, I hear no
Well, have a good
opposition. This meeting is
Adios.
adjourned. Good evening,
Good night.
folks. Thank you.